Greetings everyone, Jim Walker here. Uh, Today's video is something I've been thinking about posting, but wasn't planning on posting today. I'm here at the Music Learning Center in Danbury, Connecticut, where I teach a few days a week, teaching drums and a little bit of piano. And my Monday afternoon schedule imploded out of the blue. So I had a big gap in the middle of my day, and I thought I would try to make it a little bit more productive than to just sit around and getting on social media. And I'd been thinking about what to post next on YouTube. You notice I haven't been posting a lot of content of late. And part of that is I'm just been tied up. The semester up at Keene State College is winding down. We got another week or so left. So hopefully once that goes into its summer break, I will have a little bit more time to add some content here. But also thinking about what topics to address, which is maybe the topic for another video. But one thing that occurred to me is sharing my experience in experiencing the value of practicing in musical context, especially if you're playing any sort of an improvised music, where you have to access various bits of information and knowledge and facility and abilities off in the moment. Because I noticed this back in college originally, that I would practice things by myself in the practice room and get them going pretty well. And it could be chord voicings, which is what I'm going to mention today. It could be 2/5 patterns. It could be doing things over the patterns and shapes and patterns over the diminished scale. It could be a 4-mallet texture, you name it. And it would be great in the practice room. It would never make the leap from the practice room to rehearsals with the jazz combo or onto a gig. So I was frustrated that all this work was seemingly going for naught because it wasn't coming out in my playing. And then I realized that the way I was practicing was a different experience from the way I was playing. Different mindset, different approach. And I thought if I make my practice more musical, more in context, maybe it'll cross over. And I've noticed that definitely to be the case. If I practice things musically, put them into a composition, put them into a song, then it makes the leap from practice room stuff to performance and rehearsal and coming out in context. And I'm planning on doing a version of this video geared around the drum set. I'm going to wait till I get home. We've got a drum set here at school, but I'm going to wait till I get home. I've got a proper set of microphones and my usual setup, and it'll keep. But we can knock this one out today, with the caveat that I am a passable piano player, but with no ego, I can say I'm a much better vibraphonist than I am a pianist. I make no claims to being a great vibraphonist, but my skill on that instrument far exceeds my skill here. But I think I can fumble through enough to get the point across. So as an example of this, I'm going to use a voicing that I like to play over a half diminished chord, or if you prefer, minor 7 flat 5, depending upon where you went to school. And this particular one, it's taking an inversion of an E minor 7 flat 5 in this case. The second inversion, so we've got B flat, D, E, and G. But I replaced the G with an A. And yes, I'm breaking one of the cardinal rules of basic chord voicings in jazz. I'm leaving out one of the guide tones. I don't have the third in there, but I like the sound of this shape. And when you put it in context, going from E minor 7 flat 5 to A7 to D minor 7 minor 2/5, I think it works pretty well. It functions beautifully, and I just like the sound of it. I like that grind of the major 7th in there and the seconds. In addition to, I've got a whole other video. If I can figure out how to make it happen on YouTube, everyone else does it. I'm so technically illiterate. Try that again. If I can, I'll put a link to it somewhere about the importance of intervals in voicings. But I digress. That's the voicing. Let's say that's the one I've come up with in my practice room. I want to get that into my playing. Put it into a context of a song. In this case, the song I'm going to use is "Dear Old Stockholm." jazz standard. Miles Davis recorded it, other musicians. Mainly two reasons. One, because it fits this chord, and the other is the only decent, what is it when it's out of copyright? Oh boy, I'm having one of those days. Shouldn't be any copyright issues. I'll remember the term I'm looking for right after I finish this video. Public domain, that's what I'm looking for. It's one of the few public domain songs I can think of off the top of my head and remember a little bit of the melody and the chords. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the powers that be at YouTube won't have any issues with this. Dear old Stockholm, public domain, look it up, guys. Anyway, so I'm just going to take that opening melodic statement, and when I get to that A, I'll put my chord voicing of choice into there. So I'm going to go nice and slowly. Again, piano player, air quotes are on that, but now I've taken that same voicing that, okay, went and I did, see if I can put my money where my mouth is. Up and down chromatically around the circle of fourths, but now in context. And then put that through, ideally, all 12 keys, but at least a few. Wish me luck here. Let's go to A minor. So it will be a B minor 7 flat 5 when I get there. And why don't we do E minor? And so we will do F sharp minor 7 flat 5 when we get there. I made the same mistake the last take. So on and so forth. And I'm going to stop there while in the head before the wheels really fall off as I go through all 12 keys. You get the idea. Now I put it in the context of a song, and it's like the brain is wired differently for those two tasks. Practicing where you're just doing technical things, again, this, etc., etc. Outside of a musical context, the brain doesn't seem to make that connection. It doesn't for me anyway. And as I've said before, I don't give advice in these videos. I don't tell people what they should or shouldn't do. At best, I'm just going to share what has worked for me. And this has worked for me. Practicing something like that in context. Put it into a song. Put it into some sort of a composition. I think it works in the classical realm too. If you're working on a certain technical thing, formal permutations on marimba, certain kinds of rolls, interval changes within the mallets of one hand. You can do just practice your technical exercises, and sometimes that's exactly what's needed. You have to have that very focused practice. But if you play a composition that requires those skills, this is why we have etudes. If I remember my music history definitions and all that from back in college, an etude is a piece of music written in part at least to address a certain technical issue. You know, every instrument has its etudes. Practicing the technique, practicing materials, musically. So I'm repeating myself. Time to wrap things up. That's usually my sign that it's time to wrap up. So if you've been scuffling with making that connection, bridging the gap from the practice room to the rehearsal hall to the performance to the recording, examine your practice routine, see if you can put it in some sort of a different musical context that help make that connection and tell the brain that, yeah, this is information that we're not just going to access here in the practice room, we're going to get it over here when we're rehearsing with the group, when we're playing on stage. Give it a try. The comments will be open. Let me know if you have any success with this, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for checking out the video. Take care and have a good day.